but there is just some housekeeping I want to go ahead and get started with. So first of all, welcome. We are super excited to have you all join us for the virtual event today. It's been a great year so far, so thank you so much. At the last PTO meeting, we did pass our budget. If you haven't looked at it yet, or if you haven't seen that meeting, it can be found on shakerpto.org/Woodbury-PTO. A few updates from that. We did have our fundraiser at Cilantro Taqueria. We were able to raise $115, which is wonderful. We also had our Spiritware fundraiser, and that raised about $81. We missed our goal of $150 a little bit, but that's no big deal. Excuse me. And we also have our big fundraiser coming up in November. And a wonderful volunteer, Miss Lori Young, is helping to spearhead that. So I'm going to kick it over to Lori if you want to give a few updates on that.
Thanks, Brooke. So our fundraiser is called We Love Woodbury, and it's a very simple fundraiser that highlights all the positive things that happen in our school. We created it last year because we wanted something that was going to be the least amount of work for teachers and administrators and bring as much positivity to the kids in classrooms as possible. The way that it works is families will contribute money to support PTO initiatives. And this year, our biggest initiatives are community building and finding a way for us all to gather and get to know each other. We also support teacher grants, and we're supporting partially the artist or the visiting author. The way it works in the classroom is that students will spend a couple of class periods making some art, either visual art or word art on squares of paper to reflect some of the things that they love about the school, and we'll make murals for each of the classrooms. The dates of the fundraiser are November 4th through the 14th, and our financial goal this year is $14,000. Last year we made $11,000, so that's a bit of an increase. But this year we've got a lot of really wonderful in-person things that we're planning to do, and a lot of initiatives that I think will bring the community together, and we're really excited about it. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'll also be back in touch soon with ways that that you can help if you're interested.
That's wonderful, Lori. Thank you so much for organizing that. It's so simple. It's we all love our kids' artwork, and it all goes to a good cause. So thank you so much. So one of the things that the fundraising helps us do, like Lori said, is our big community events. If you were able to join us for the Welcome Back party, that was super fun. We had about 400 people who attended with the bounce house and stuff. So that was a great time. Our next community event will be on October 19th, the Wednesday before our long weekend with conferences. So please join us for that. Please volunteer. And I also want to take a quick opportunity to say thank you to the custodial team. We all know that they do a great job of keeping very beautiful every day, but especially for these events, they are super helpful, and some of the people that don't quite get as noticed very often. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Jerome and Mike and the whole team. So, okay, so we've got Fallapalooza, and then the All School Read. We have supported that financially a little bit, and we're excited about that. Sarah, is that all the PTO updates that we have?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, well, thank you for listening to all of that. So we're going to kick it over to Eric Foreman to see how things are going on his end.
Thanks, Brooke. First, I just want to say thank you to everybody. This is an incredible turnout right now. So I'm incredibly excited about that and inspired by that. And so thank you for coming to hear a little bit about our work at Woodbury. Our goal today is really to focus on what we refer to here at Woodbury and around the district as our care team. So many of them are here present, and I will introduce them all in a second. But it also includes our administrative staff, as well as our assistant principals and deans, who many of you have met or had the opportunity to meet over the course of the school year. But for the purposes of today, like, it was really important in having this opportunity. And just a quick reminder, We have official PTO meetings every other month. So we had one of those about a month ago. And then in the off meeting months, so October, December, February, we will do these principal chats as another opportunity to come together and hear a little bit about some of the departments or things that are going on at Woodbury and be able to answer some questions and just connect as a community. So today's purpose is to really talk about our care team, and the 4 people that are here today, or I'll say 5 people that are here today, are Mark Lynch, and if you can just wave and say hello as we get there, and I'm going to keep letting people in as I'm doing this. Mark Linchewski, who's our 6th grade school counselor. Margaret Whitmore, who is our 6th grade student care specialist. We have Lamara Springer, who is our 5th grade school counselor, and Laura Chapman, who is our 5th grade student care specialist. In addition, and I see that she's in the room as well, Shanita Siggers is here, and Shanita is not only one of our administrative assistants in the main office, but she also serves as our FACE liaison. So FACE and Shaker is family and community engagement. So she is another key component of our team here as it relates to supporting our students and families and as things come up, but also in the day-to-day operations of our school and the place where school fits in our community. And so we have an incredible team here, and one that from the start of the school year has hit the ground running. And there's a lot of us, as many of you know, that are new to the building and lots of new things that we're putting together. But having all of this staff available and ready to support our students and our families has been a tremendous asset. So I know the team and Mark Linchewski is going to lead the way, has a bit of a presentation, but we did want to make sure that we also leave time for questions and answers and opportunities for families to get some clarity on anything that they have. So Mr. Linchewski, I will turn it over to you, and we will go from there. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you so much there, Mr. Foreman. All right, I'm going to pull up a presentation now. Again, I'm Mark Linchewski. I am the 6th grade counselor. I know most of you already know me. I saw a lot of familiar names out there. I would have loved to have said hello to you all individually, but we know that there's not enough time for that. But would just like to say welcome and thanks for being here. I know everybody has a busy day. Here are the care team that Mr. Foreman was alluding to is a great group of people that truly care about your kids. We want to make sure that they feel safe, comfortable when they come to Woodbury. We're not here to get them in trouble. We're not here to say they're bad kids. We're only here to help and support. And I really believe you're going to feel that when you speak to us today, or when you see us speak to you today, rather. So basically, what we deal with is social emotional learning and academic piece. We review strategies and support to help students and parents. Anytime I tell a parent, if there's something that you don't understand or something's going on, or you're not sure if you should call us or not, the best thing to do is just give us a call, and then let's have a courageous conversation. A lot of our conversations with parents, we have to have that courageous conversation and say, hey, this is a suggestion that we may give. So, just take that with a grain of salt, and that we're here to help, support, and be a partner in this together through your children's lives. And then we're here to discuss the SEL, problem solve, academics. We cover depression, anxiety, anger, all those other things, grief, and we're going to discuss that as well as we move on. So again, we're here to make your children feel safe and comfortable. And if you have any questions, just call us. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Springer.
All right. Thank you, Mark. So to piggyback off of Mark, what was he just stating to you all? In order to support the social emotional learning of our students, it's important to know what is social emotional learning, right? All right. So social emotional learning is specifically the process in which adults and young people acquire and apply the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to develop these healthy identities that we promote, managing emotions, achieving personal and collective goals, the ability to feel and show empathy for others. That's an important piece that we cover when we go into the classroom for lessons. And then also establishing and maintaining these supportive, positive relationships and making responsive and caring decisions. So knowing all of these different aspects of what we do with our students is really, really beneficial. So now that we know what the social emotional learning look like and the well-being, we can talk a little bit about more of competencies that we cover in addition to the SEL work. Okay. All right. So now we're sharing on the screen just some information about 5 core competencies for collaboration for academic, social, and emotional learning. So it touches on self-awareness, self-management, being able to self-motivate, set goals, managing stress, social awareness, so that empathy piece, and being able to appreciate diversity in the different walks of life and experiences that we bring into the classroom. Relationship skills, so being able to work together, the ability to communicate, how to deal with peer pressure, negative and positive peer pressure, and also responsible decision making. So solving problems, evaluating, ethical responsibility, evaluating consequences for various actions that may occur throughout our days. So all of these are key pieces that the care team promotes and addresses with our students here at Woodbury. Okay.
All right. We can really talk about this a long time, but we're really not sure how much time we have. So here's just a few suggestions about what parents can do at home. Parents can contact us, either the school counselor, student care specialist, or their teachers if they have any concerns whatsoever. The best thing to do is just give us a call and tell us what is going on. More information we have, the more information, or the better we can take and support your child and yourself. Also, what you could do is talk to your children at home, use an empty chair. So for instance, like you would have your child sit down in one chair, you put another chair across from them, and you would say, okay, what would you like to say to the person that is upsetting you? What would you like to say to your father if he was sitting in that chair? And then they go ahead and have and spill their feelings or the yuckiness that they have inside them or whatever it is. That usually is very effective. I use that a lot in school. But the thing is that you got to give them the time to speak. And if you look at the bottom, it says parents can use silence. Silence is a huge tool to use. Parents want to help their children so much that they end up talking more than their children does. Sit back, listen, do active listening, lean forward, eyes on your child, and let them know that you're truly listening, and wait 2-3 minutes. I know it's like an eternity, but give them that silence and then they'll start opening up. Then they'll know that their adult is there to help. Your children need to understand their emotions. They need to understand that their emotions are important to you. When I go in the classroom, I tell them. That's why I know 95% of our children's names, because they're important to me. Their emotions are important to me. You can also have discuss emotions through books, TV shows, and sometimes even video games. I've done that with my son, who's into that. And then a huge piece is empathy. As Ms. Springer alluded to earlier, empathy is huge. I've been here going on 9 years, and that is the number one focus in my classroom guidance that I at least mention almost every time I'm in the classroom. So acknowledge your child's feelings, help them learn better to communicate their worries. A lot of times they have trouble getting those emotions out. Give them the words to use. So, I am feeling what? I don't understand what is going on with me, but express it through words. And then you can have them say those things. So I know I probably rushed through that, but that's a idea there. All right, let me see if I can move this. All right. And then continue to be available for them, obviously. Let them know that they feel safe when they're sharing their feelings, like they're not going to get in trouble for how they're feeling. If your child is not feeling safe at home, it could be It could be whatever, a child bullying them at school, maybe something going on in the neighborhood. Develop a safety plan. Sit down and write it out with them. Children love structure. Create daily routines. Build it into family time. Limit exposure to social media. I can't express it enough to have children practice putting their phones down and not touching it for several hours. I know it's very difficult to do, but they sometimes absorb those feelings that are on the internet, and then they don't know why that they're upset. They don't know why that they're frustrated, because they're seeing all the yucky things that are out there on social media. And then simple things, just make sure they're getting enough sleep, that they're eating healthy, they're exercising, they're moving, and that just, creates lower stress. And then allow social time with friends.
All right. Now, before we get into some tips to help support your child's social emotional well-being, I would like to add that it's perfectly fine and normal for all students or children to require help and guidance as they develop these new skills, okay, that they will use for the rest of their lives. So it takes practice. One key piece that I like to tell students that, these skills that you're learning now, we have to practice them so they can become a part of your routine and a habit, okay? So some tips that can be beneficial for them: protect their downtime. Make sure that they have a little time just to be kids and not have to do any homework or attend any extracurricular activities. Just give them time to just chill out and relax. And also emphasize learning and not so much the grade that they're receiving on a report card or an assessment, okay? Just let them enjoy the journey of learning different concepts in school, okay? And also choose your words carefully. When you first see them after school, don't just jump to, did you get your grade back on this assignment or this test? Just ask them, what was your favorite part of your day today? Just see how their day went, okay? And then let children do their own work. Step in when they ask for your assistance, but just let them be the ship on the boat, the captain on the boat of their learning ship, okay? All right. And also another piece I would like you guys to take away is to congratulate them when they ask for help. If they take the initiative to seek out a trusted adult in the building, just let them know that you're proud of them for doing so, because it takes a lot of courage to reach out and let someone know that you need help. So definitely make sure that they know you're proud of them for doing that when they need some assistance in some area, okay? All right, prioritize sleep and create technology-free spaces. I believe Mr. Lincheski talked a little bit about this a couple of slides ago. Let them know that it's okay to unplug from their media devices and just hang out with family or their siblings, play games with everyone. That is really, really important to unplug sometimes, okay? And also challenge what it means to be successful. I think we try to follow like a narrow lane of what it looks like to be successful or intelligent. Everyone is not the same. We have different strengths and weaknesses. So try to allow your child to flourish and grow in what it means to be intelligent for them, okay? Because we're all different and have our own unique ingredients to add to the recipe of life, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Springer. So part of our job as the social emotional support here at Woodbury is helping the students we work with and see to understand what is causing them to feel mad, sad, or worried, or uncomfortable, and all of those other uncomfortable feelings. Because once we can identify what is causing us to feel mad or sad or uncomfortable, we can then help them to identify coping skills, as you can see on this on the screen, different coping skills such as working out, reading, journaling, doing some art to manage those uncomfortable feelings, to be able to get through the rest of the day. And it also is important that the kids know that they can ask for help. So it'd be a good idea to talk to your students and ask them if they have a trusted adult here at Woodbury that they feel comfortable coming to when they are feeling these emotions, to kind of talk it out, whether that be any of us on the team or just their homeroom teacher, or maybe their science teacher. But it is really important that they have someone here that they feel comfortable and able to tell that they're not feeling okay. And I'm gonna switch it over to Ms. Chapman now.
Okay. Good morning. Another fun tool that you could use, a quick tool you can use at home. We do it at school too. I have an emoji chart in my room where we talk like a quick check-in. How are you feeling today? And a lot of kids like to identify by the faces. Some students, they'll prefer, maybe some students like to draw or to write. So, there's different ways that students can communicate how they're feeling. But the important thing is to kind of see, check in with them to see how they're feeling, and then maybe check in with them later on that day to see if it's changed or how they're feeling. But the emoji chart is, like a fun chart. A lot of kids like to see the faces and kind of point out, I'm feeling that way today. And on the next slide, I think, you can also ask them to rate themselves, 1 to 10. How are you feeling today? Another check-in. I'm feeling a 5. You might want to check in when they get home from school. How are you feeling today? And then see how they're feeling later in the day. There's more emoji faces, from I'm feeling great to, it's been a really rough day. And then, start from there. You can start communication of what's going on and start communication. But the first step is the self-awareness and to see, where they're at. Some of the benefits, as you see on the screen, of the SEL program is improve academic performance, if also a more positive attitude and behavior with other peers, decrease negative behavior, improve emotional health. And it also has a lasting impact we see throughout the school year, and it kind of offers a high return, on your investment. So we see, working with students on an ongoing basis that we'll see an improvement with other peers and in their classroom.
So yeah, just continuing on the benefits of our SEL team here. It helps kids just be able to regulate themselves. So they, like I said it earlier in my slide, they learn how to manage those stressful situations, whether that be, this exam they've been worried about, or, having conflict with a peer. They're able to handle those emotions so it's not interrupting their learning process by regulating themselves. So yeah, they're just by being able to manage their stress, they're then able to focus on their academics.
And then we have some just resources for parents and students. If you guys like to go ahead, free to use them. Mindfulness, yoga poses, COVID-19 resources. I'm not sure if we still need that on there, but you're free to use that. If you need resources at home, you can check our website. On my emails, I have a site created with a bunch of resources already on there. Feel free to use whatever you need. And if you need something else that's not on there, you can let us know. We're happy to help you. That would conclude our presentation here. Do we open up for questions, Mr. Foreman?
Yes, we can, if I can just add, let's just make sure I'm unmuted. Yeah, I'm unmuted. I just want to add, one of the things that, in my transition here, from our K4s here in Shaker to being here at Woodbury, not only do we have an increased team to kind of support students and family needs here, which is, just in and of itself wonderful. I think we also have a reality of our students coming together, and then this being the class that will be together over the course of time before they graduate from high school, and the opportunities to really work with our students on what does it mean to live a healthy, balanced life, and what are the supports that you have. And one of the things that you will often hear, our teachers or our care folks talking about is, all the emotions that kids feel every day or over the course of a week are normal. All of the emotions and feelings that they have during every week, everybody has. And it's just a matter of figuring out ways to managing those. And I think this goes without saying, but I think it's relevant to say is the last number of years, I think all of us as adults, as parents, as our children have experienced quite a bit from small to large as it's related to the world that we're living in and that we're raising kids in. And so I've been incredibly happy that we have the support systems in place here at Woodbury to not only support our kids on the day-to-day, but for long-term and to support kind of our families. And I will be upfront in, I see this as an ongoing need as we, quote unquote, build back in the post-pandemic era here. Students have grown up and had some early years in a different world, and we need to be available to support that growth. So as they develop into adolescents and young adults, we're giving them the supports that they need. So on that front, if there are specific questions, we are all here to answer those. Also, just want to say up front, because I know sometimes I can be a little bit shy in a meeting. If there are things that you're feeling like you'd rather email versus share in a meeting, you are welcome to do that as well. All of us are available. We'll make sure that this video is shared out with the PTO so people have access to it. But on that note, I will turn it over. And if Brooke, if you and Sarah might be able to help manage a little bit of the questions, and we'll go from there, but happy to answer.
Awesome. That was a really great presentation. Thank you so much, everybody. And Mr. Foreman, I really appreciate your point that our kids are actually going to go through high school together. I know I have a high school student right now, and it goes by so fast, but these kids are going to grow up together. So really taking care of each other is so valuable. So I feel like I learned a lot. Sarah, did you want to jump in? Are you free?
Sure. I think we have a question from Christian Gindelsberger.
Yeah, perfect. Yep, that's
Great.
me. Hi. I just want to say, first of all, I really appreciate you guys making an effort to make social emotional learning a big part of the curriculum. I think it's super important. Again, as Principal Foreman said, it's been a hard couple years and kids are kind of reintegrating. Plus the transition I have a fifth grader, so transitioning to a fifth grade school is a big move. I was wondering, and I didn't hear, and I may have missed it, but are there any specific programs or classes or things that are focusing on social emotional learning rather than I know you guys are available to talk, but I mean, is there specific groups or things like that are happening?
Yeah, we already have groups set up. We focus on social skills. We focus on anger, relationships. So those have already been moving since the beginning of the year. And we did a needs survey and collected information. We sit down with teachers and meet with them once a week to talk about students and help support. So yes, we already have those groups started. And then we also have after school activities and stuff for the kids to do.
If I can just jump in for 1 second too. So as many of you know, we have our daily advisory program. And so, Christian, I think this is also part of the question you asked. So we use what's called Caring School Communities as the core curriculum we use for social emotional learning for all students, as well as lessons that our care team will do in those advisory periods as well. So right now, our schedule, now that we've gotten through and transportation is moving along generally well, and our breakfast program is running along well, we have a period of time from approximately 8:30 to 8:55 every day that students are doing. Mondays and Fridays is community-based, like what does your community need? And then Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are Caring School Communities lessons. Over the last couple of weeks, we have done more of our all-school read, which many of you may have heard about from your students. So we're using that advisory period often for all-school read and using the book as an avenue to have conversations with students about friendship relationships, fairness, these things that are very much on the minds. I was with a group of students this morning, and as we all know with our own children, if you give kids an avenue to talk about things, they will not only impress you with their brilliance, but they will also push you in ways in terms of thinking about things differently from their mindset as we might have on our own. Additionally, our district uses, and this is starting in 6th grade, there is a teacher survey called that goes from 6 to 12 called the BIMIS, which some of you may have heard about before, but that's an opportunity for our teachers to do a screener for each of their students, and that helps identify if there are students that could then groups or ongoing things could be created for here at school. So it's an opportunity for us to get a better sense of what student needs are and what teachers are seeing, so that we're able to build our programming off of that.
Eric, I see that there's a question from the audience, but I have a follow-up about the BIMA. So I was at a presentation and Dr. Glasner talked about using the Panorama survey for fifth graders, and that it would be implemented, which feels like another tool of social emotional assessment. Will that be implemented? He said maybe November this year. Is that going to be used?
Yes. So there are so many things. I'm forgetting all of them at this point. But yes, so we started last year as a district. We implemented what's called the Panorama survey. We did it for the first time in late May, which, not probably the optimal time to be doing most things in school in late May. That's a challenging time of the school year. But the goal of the Panorama is a student and employee survey on kind of culture, climate, the experience of students, the experience of staff. And this year, the plan is to administer that twice, once in around November, as Sarah mentioned, and then also to be able to survey towards the spring, not necessarily the last 2 weeks of the school year, in order to see kind of what kids are experiencing on a regular here at school, and then also what we're seeing as we move through the school year. And then longitudinally, that will give us data from year to year, and student cohort data that should help as well. Sarah, thank you for bringing that up.
So we have a hand raised by Dan Connell.
Thank you. I didn't realize that my husband's name was on there. I echo the appreciation for all the presentations today and all the points made thus far, and also for the wellness. I really enjoyed learning more about that at curriculum night. It seems like a great opportunity. I'm not sure if that's available to fifth graders too, or just sixth graders, but thank you for that. And my question is, aside from, I don't know if aside from at least some of the specials and recess and lunch, are there many opportunities for the classes to interact with other students outside of their core group? Is there anything upcoming, is like within the all school read, for example? Do they mix it up a little bit, or?
I'm happy to answer that. So yes, I would say the first place where kids really want that is in lunch and recess. They would like some mixed seating and mixed grouping, which we have done in each grade level a couple of times, so that kids have the opportunity to connect with old friends or new friends that they might know from an outside activity. So there'll be more of that coming. And then additionally on team, there will be opportunities within team first and then within grade level for some community building. We had a team last week that did sort of a monthly celebration that they do on their team, where all of the kids were together in the auditorium. And so over the course of the year, yes, there will definitely be opportunities for that.
Thank you.
So I think we have a question from Ali.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ali Fortia. My two sons are in fifth grade. And I would like first to thank you all, all the staff at Woodbury School. I would love to know what's the secret that makes my kids love the school. Anyway. So,
teachers.
Yeah, teachers. Or I don't know. It's maybe it's a secret. Maybe you don't want to tell, but it's a secret anyway. So they love their school anyway. My question, or maybe an idea. I take my kids to a tutoring class every Monday from 5 to 7, and they enjoyed this class because they feel that this tutoring class is helping them. Understanding what is maybe missing, or maybe it's still difficult to understand. So I wonder if there is anything that can be done within the school, like this program, like tutoring, even in cooperation maybe with the high school, or maybe like high school students. And I'm saying that because kids, maybe not only my kids, maybe all kids, they love what is done within the school, whether it's a tutoring, whether it's a program, maybe whether any activity that is done within the school. So this is one. The other thing is that we know that the winter is coming, okay, and the weather program is often used to be different from the other seasons programs, okay, because kids used to stay at home more than any other time during the winter, okay. So is there anything that I mean can be any advices or anything that is, I mean, that might be helpful for kids while they are staying at home, maybe more than any other time during the year? I wish that my English is good
No,
enough.
I understand what you're, but I understand if I miss anything, please let me know. First, I will say that I think the key right now to getting kids to coming to school and really liking it is the more robust lunch program that the students have. I have experienced it coming from the K4 now to Woodbury. Sort of the choices and options were not just for lunch, but it is a big deal. But some of the freedoms that students have here in terms of feeling like they have some greater choice than they had at their elementary school is very often presented to me from kids as things that they really like. And so trying to find avenues to really accentuate what does it mean to be 10 to 12 and how is that different than being 6 years old or 7 years old? I think kids really appreciate that. I've had a number of families share that with me as well this year, that even the smallest of freedoms feel like a really big deal and things that we want to look for more with kids. I would say in terms of tutoring, we are definitely looking for avenues to provide both in the school day and out of the school day some opportunities for tutoring. There's our bell. The hardest thing for us right now is just finding staffing and transportation as it relates to those things. So we have begun to launch some of our after school programming, which will give us a sense of how many spots we have left on provided transportation, because we do have some staff that have interest in doing different programming that we'd like to get started. So I'm hopeful over the month of October and November, we will continue to add more and more to that. On the at home front, like as kids, might get sick or we miss a day for a snow day or something of that nature, we do have access to a number of learning materials and sites on their Chromebooks that they are welcome to use, as well as connecting with their teachers on things that teachers feel like are the right fit for them to work on. I will use this as an opportunity, and it might just be one as the parent of a fourth grader and kindergartner myself. But I think that there's a real reality now that we need to shift our mindsets back to, if our students aren't feeling well, but are able to come to school, we would like them to come to school, right? I think that we went through a number of years where, do you have one symptom A and do you have one symptom B? And those were all very relevant and important and valuable. But I know as a parent, there were many times when my wife and I had to figure out having our child or children home because of the realities of some of the protocols and realities of the height of COVID. While I recognize COVID is still very much a part of our daily existence, we do know that attendance in school is crucially important. So, if your child has what is in the wintertime, as we all know, has a typical sniffle, we encourage you to utilize testing as it relates to COVID, but we also want you to be comfortable knowing that your child can come to school. And the more we can get kids in school, we can do the work with them here that we want to do on a daily basis. And I know for me, that's a shift because the last couple of years have been very different.
So Eric, there was a question about student activities, I think it was, and is information about activities being sent home with students? I think there was information about, I think specifically this is about student ambassadors, and maybe some people knew about it and some people didn't. Can you explain sort of how the after school activities, which may be different than the groups that were discussed, are working and how that information is being pushed out?
Yeah, so a few of our most of the groups that our care team here talked about occur during our school day. So those would be things that the team here would be communicating directly with families about if they're ongoing support. I saw Mark typed it in the chat as well. Like if you have concerns or things that you want us to be aware about or programming that we might be able to provide, please don't hesitate to reach out about that. As it relates to our lunch and after school programming, information will be coming, I don't know a better word other than piecemeal over time as we kind of get things started. So right now, after school programming is starting with art club and jazz band and fiddle factory and I'm forgetting one.
Ambassadors.
And student ambassadors. Some of those programs are programs that are run that are open enrollment, that are by a lottery. For art, for example, we have more interest than we can usually accommodate in the first session. So that will become a lottery system, and then people will put on the list for a second session. Student ambassadors is something that each community works on, and then Mr. Lincheski and Ms. Springer work with those students specifically. So it's not an open enrollment program the way some of our other programs are. And then we're looking to add more as we move forward. Like we're hoping to add back. There's been an ongoing swimming club that we're hoping to add at least one day a week. I'm going to blank on all of them now, but Max Scholars and Sisters will happen on Thursdays after school. And our team here will communicate directly with either through our PTO newsletter or our weekly e-news in order to launch those out so families have that information.
Okay, so we have some repeat players. Christian, again, with a question, I think.
Just to follow up on that, is there a central repository? I know that you said that's coming out piecemeal, but is there a place we can go to figure out what those opportunities are? And maybe I was going to ask about family room. Unfortunately, I didn't get to attend curriculum night. We had to miss that due to a sickness, but is family room one of those pieces? And where can I find out more information about those types of things?
Yeah, so the best repository is going to be our weekly Sunday e-news. So it's the inside. If you're signed up for the weekly e-news, you'll get a weekly district email that then will have a link to what's called the Woodbury wrap-up, and that Woodbury wrap-up is going to have the most comprehensive, up-to-date Woodbury information every Sunday, including a wonderful letter from me every week as well that you can read. Additionally, we have and Brooke and Sarah, if I get the name wrong, please. There's the e-blast, the PTO e-blast that's going out as well that has PTO information as well as just some repeat information, just so that we have it out there as consistently as we can. And so those are really, from a not having too many things coming at you at one time, those are going to be the best places to go for that information. And if you need help getting signed up for that, please do not hesitate to reach out to our office here, and we can help make sure you get all that information.
Okay, I guess I have one quick suggestion. I wonder, those are periodic reminders that will change over time. It would be great if there was like one central place, a web page or something where we could say, okay, these are all the things, maybe a calendar, since I know there's due dates on these things. But I can go back and look at all the past email blasts and all those things, but I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on something if I miss a week or something like that. So I don't know if that's a possibility. That would be very helpful.
So we have another comment in the chat. This is going back to the lunchroom discussion, that it feels like there might be some frustration that a lot of the lunch options, which look very appealing, are unavailable by the time the class reaches the cafeteria. I know my child has expressed that as well. And is there anything that can be done to address this?
Yes. And kids have expressed this frustration to me as well. So especially for some of our 6th grade students who eat. So essentially we have half the 5th grade that's outside, half that eat. And then we do that for 6th graders. For our 6th graders who are the last students to eat, there have been some times when there have not been available of a particular option. And so I have spoken to our lunch folks here, and as they, with this new menu, have a better sense of like what are the most desirable options on a given day. They are planning to kind of set the amount that's made. So I hope that over the next weeks to months that should get fixed up.
And then I think the Connell household might also have another question. I think you're muted.
Sorry about that. Back to the clubs thank you for a quick second. A small piece of feedback that I completely acknowledge is probably more complicated to implement than it sounds. If there would be some way to give consideration to kids who were shut out in previous go-arounds of the clubs, maybe set aside a certain number of spots each time or somehow take that into consideration.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So one of the things that we did do for this school year, just use as one example, so our art club has usually been one session. And so I worked with Miss Clementi Milne and Mr. Bognar about having a second session. So we are signed up to at least have 2 sessions of art club. So if we get students beyond 2 sessions, we'll have to figure out a third option. But we should be able to, students who don't get into session 1, we should be able to provide them art club later. And so I think that for our most, desirable or most wanted things, I think we need to think long-term about how to do that, both for kids, but also in a sustainable way here for staff as well.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And just to confirm, I think all the parents really appreciated the information in the PowerPoint. So if you can share that out, or we can put a link to it in the newsletter, or even on the PTO site, I think that everybody would really appreciate that. I don't see any other hands raised or questions in the chat. Everyone was very appreciative of the willingness to host this in multiple ways. We do in person, we do online. I think people really appreciate that. There's some comments of appreciation on having the all school read. So I know that took a lot of work on the teachers and the foundation and the PTO. We all funded that, so I think that's going really well. Okay, good. We have another question. Tishwanda Robinson, you have a question.
Good morning. I just wanted to know, how can we purchase the the spirit gear, like the shakerware or Woodbury?
There was an opportunity. We had I think everyone is kind of going to the online stores instead of having the gear available at an event. So I think that opportunity right now is over, but I'm sure we'll be opening up the online store for additional items to be purchased in the future. We can figure out when that might be happening. I'm sure it will happen in time for holiday gift buying. But the PTO will put that in the e-blast as well. Sure.
Thank you.
If I can put a plug in, October 27th is our all school read here. There'll be more information coming, but that's our all school read here at Woodbury. It's the evening event, and it's an opportunity to have book discussion with your students and their classmates. As we speak right now, actually, we just ended at 10:45. We had some students who were able to have kind of a pre-meeting with Chris Grabenstein, who was he's the author of Mr. Limoncello's Library. And so he wanted to meet with some kids ahead of time to just kind of have a pre-meet. So they met this morning, and I'm looking forward to hearing an update on that. But we're going to be ready on October 27th to have the community together talking about a fun, special book. Okay, well, if that's, yeah.
Brooke, I just want to jump in real quick. Just a couple more PTO plugs. So we do have October 19th Fallapalooza. We hope everybody can join us for a couple hours on the field, the Woodbury On-Way field, like we did last month. There will be a food truck available. It is family self-pay. So please stop by that if you'd like, or bring your own picnic dinner. So those are 2 options, but it'll be a great opportunity to get our kids together. We are looking for some volunteers to help just organize a few small games that we are planning. So please either volunteer or attend Fallapalooza. And I just want to mention, I see Christian saying he hadn't heard of Fiddle Factory. We do have the monthly e-blast. Fiddle Factory, Jazz Band, and the art club information were in that monthly e-blast. Everybody should have gotten it yesterday. All of the emails are automatically put in by the district. So if you are not getting the monthly emails or the weekly e-news, go ahead and reach out about that because everybody should automatically be getting that. So I think that's all I had, Sarah, for last minute plugs. Oh, and also the Facebook page. I'm not on Facebook personally, but they are very active, making sure everybody has information. So if you're on Facebook or social media, look for the Woodbury PTO Facebook page.
All right, good. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning, and thank you to all the dedicated Woodbury staff and faculty for putting together the amazing information. And if there's nothing else, thank you very much. Enjoy the day.
Thanks, everybody. Talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello?